The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, claims to have already saved $130 billion with more cuts on the way.
A new report out this morning says the White House is laying the groundwork for more big reductions in the federal workforce. Doug Zader has more this morning from Washington. Doug, good morning.
Bob and Brooke, good morning. This report in the Washington Post this morning says the White House is considering more staff cuts of up to 50% in some agencies as the president's chief cost cutter, Elon Musk, lays out his case. Protesters across the country who oppose government funding cuts are increasingly targeting one person, Elon Musk.
This is insane, and we cannot stand for this unelected person wielding almost unlimited power throughout our government.
If we don't do it, America's going to go insolvent. We're going to go bankrupt.
Musk on the offensive now, appearing with senior members of his Department of Government Efficiency. One by one, they recounted what they have found, including at the National Institutes of Health.
We have 27 different CIOs. And so when you think about making great medical discoveries, you have to connect the data.
Time out. You said 27 different chief information officers?
Correct.
Another target, the massive underground mine that's been used for decades to warehouse employee records and process them by hand. The Washington Post says an internal White House document shows that government agencies are in line for additional worker cuts in the range of 8 to 50%. Democrats say this will end with cuts in popular government programs like Medicare and Medicaid, something the White House denies.
The attack on the rule of law, the fact that more than 40 federal courts have had to intervene with restraining orders and preliminary injunctions to stop all of the lawlessness, people are outraged.
But Musk is undaunted, saying his goal is to cut government waste and fraud by $4 billion a day.
Unless this exercise is successful, the ship of America will sink.
And just yesterday, the Department of Health and Human Services announced plans to lay off 10,000 workers, promising to do more with less. Brooke and Bob.
I don't think there's a lot of sort of disagreement out there, outrage, let's say, for some of these cuts among the American public. The reaction generally for criticism has been, how is this really going to impact us in terms of services? And you mentioned Medicare, Medicaid there, and people who really rely on these things down the line, some of them are really concerned about how this could potentially impact them.
You know, there's an argument that as taxpayers, we want it both ways. We want the government to spend far less, but we don't want any kind of diminishment in government services at all. You know, the needle they'll have to thread here with things like Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, is to provide the same benefit level and the same level of service. In other words, if you need to call the government and deal with something, deal with some issue, while still paring back the bureaucracy. Can that be done through efficiencies? That's going to be a critical test for DOGE.
All right, we shall see. Doug Zader live for us in Washington. We appreciate it, Doug. Thank you.